Thank you, Senator Hussain. Local government reform is imperative, but it should not be rushed. Now, it is hard to assist our citizens while in opposition. We simply do not have the resources. However, we can depend on our next speaker to allocate what little resources he has to help us. Our next speaker is one of the hardest working persons I have had the privilege of meeting. He may be small in stature, but he has one of the biggest personalities in our party. Please join with me to welcome the chairman of the Princeton Regional Corporation, Gowrie Roopnarine.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Member of Parliament for Naparima, the Honorable MP Rodney Charles, Senator, the Honorable Khadija Amin, and Deputy Political Leader of the United National Congress, Senator Saram Hussain, my colleague, Councillor Chris Hussain. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here this evening proud in support of my councillor, Councillor Chris Hussain. I want to tell you all, I have been in the corporation for the past 16 years. I had the opportunity to work with 4 councillors representing Reform Manahambri, and I can tell you tonight, your councillor is the best councillor ever represent this area. And I can tell you this term, a councillor who make it in this term will make it any time in the regional corporation. He is a councillor who always support me. But this evening I was wondering why putting me in a spot. But I believe he genuinely supports me. That is why he wants me to get a little more brave. That is why he put me to speak after Senator Saram Hussain, because to stand up and speak after a young, brilliant senator like that, it is not easy to do. I want to remain local. You have the big boys on the head table to tell you about national issues in this country. At the Princeton Regional Corporation, they want to speak about the economy. When Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister in 2015, the economy, the finance in this country had already started to drop. You know what was the allocation to the Princeton Regional Corporation? $103,000 under recurrent. You know what is the allocation to the Princeton Regional Corporation presently? 83 million. And I want to tell you something. Out of that 83 million, 60% of that is to pay wages, to pay the workers. Because we at the Princeton Regional Corporation decide we're not sending home no workers. We're not going to do that. The support I have from your councillor and the councillors who are here this evening make the Princeton Regional Corporation one of the best run corporations in this country. And it was said by the Minister of Local Government, it is not easy when a PNM minister have to stand up and say a UNC run corporation is the best run corporation. But with the little funding that they are giving we in that corporation, we make sure that it is properly well spent, because we know the needs of the people outside, and we are taking that money and using it as best as we can. However, it is still difficult, because some of my colleagues will tell you here tonight that some of their landlord is now telling them they have to leave because we cannot even get the releases to pay the rent to these offices. Some of these councillors will be operating from their car bonnet pretty soon because these landlords decide that they cannot continue anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, when I spoke about the 83 million comparing to the 103 under the People's Partnership Government, I want to tell you something. Under the People's Partnership Government, while we had $103 million, we also had projects throughout the region coming directly from the ministry. And I want to tell you something. It was not only in the Princestown Regional Corporation, it was not only in a UNC-run corporation, it was throughout Trinidad in every single corporation. That was the way Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa run this country. It was proper representation for all. It was not just a group of people who support her, the party that she belongs to. She represented every single one. In 2010, when we went as councillors, she urged us, serve the people. And what she did, in order for we to serve the people, she made sure we had the proper resources to serve the people. Before I close here this evening, I want to urge you all to continue to work with your councillor. And I invite some of you all who have the time, when we have a statutory meeting, to come to the regional corporation and listen to your young councillor at a statutory meeting. You will show that he's a member of parliament. And that is what our Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa is doing, molding the youths that one day they will have to take over in this country, and she must be commended for that. I think she deserves a round of applause. I want to commend these two young persons here, and Councillor Chris must be congratulated tonight. You know why? Both of them filed nomination for the upcoming local election, one for current Cedar Hill and one for Reform and Ahambri. These candidates for this 2 electoral district was already chosen. But you know what? They're not swell and vex anyway. Here they are, chairing this program tonight. That is the commitment. That is the commitment. And I want to commend Councillor Chris for inviting them to be part of this program, to show them they are important still, because we're going to win the next general election. Before I close, I want to recognize my colleagues who are here who was already chosen as candidates for the next local election. We have Councillor Lakshminarayan Ramdan for the St. Julian Princestown North, Councillor Derek Matura for Inverness Princestown South. I saw Councillor Laurent for Moruga, and I want to recognize our councillor for Williamsville, Hadbargen Belloman, a very hard-working councillor, and our candidate for Lengua Indian Walk. The Princestown Regional Corporation, we're going to take all 10 seats in the next local election, and we is going to prepare ourselves to take the Moruga Tablan seat to ensure our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, return as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much.